Today's proverb is Proverbs 19:3.
A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. I'll read it again. A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. So as I was reading this, I feel like today the tendency for so many people when they look at their life and they look at aspects of their life, it's very easy to blame God rather than to take ownership for it ourselves, because it's easier to shift the blame. So give you some examples of this. People want to look at their lives, and because they don't execute maybe on their planning, maybe they don't execute on their strategic thinking, they don't execute on their choices, on their follow through, whatever it may be for any aspect of their life. It's just very easy to look at God and go, well, God, this is the hand that I dealt. Why did you deal that hand to me? And then what we end up doing is creating this bitterness and this contention. So some examples I wrote down here, like we can look at financial management. God let me down, or God didn't provide for me when I needed him to come through. There's relationship failures. If God wanted me happy, he wouldn't let me be in bad relationships, or he would bring me the one, we'll call it. People have career setbacks and they go, God isn't blessing my career. Why is God punishing me? Health consequences. God didn't heal my family member, or why did God let me get sick? We have addiction struggles that we know well. If God cared, he would take this struggle from me. So these are some, as I think about life, these are some of the struggles that people are going through. And instead of pouring into what those struggles are and wrestling and figuring out how I'm going to get out of it, it's just easier for me to blame somebody, specifically God, and then just have a bitter heart towards him because of that.
God, that's great. Those are great examples. I'm going to read it again. Proverbs 19:3. A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. I don't think all raging against the Lord I do is because of my own folly.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. You've listed there a bunch of reasons why when I fall short, it is a tendency to want to blame God, you know?
It's easier.
Well, yeah, it's easier in taking accountability. Accountability means I have to take action, and action takes effort, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So this is actually speaking directly to our taking ownership of the mistakes that we make in our life, or the decisions we make, and being accountable to them. Mm-hmm. And I made tons of very, very bad mistakes throughout my life. And other people made mistakes around me. And in fact, when you find yourself involved in drug and alcohol culture, which I was, as a drug addict and alcoholic, I just hung out with other people that did drugs and drank alcohol all the time. Mm-hmm. I made all my environments like that. So everywhere I would find myself, I was going to work. I worked at a place where they served alcohol. Worked out pretty well. I hung out with people that did drugs, because I wanted to do drugs when I wasn't working, or when I was working for that matter. I wanted to do them all the time. I want to do all these things all the time. So I designed a life around me that included those things. So other people were doing things, and I'd get myself caught up in something. If you had a bad idea and you were trying to sell drugs, and I'm hanging with you and we're rolling the same car, they pull over the car, they're arresting both of us. Why? Because I had drugs on me too. Mm-hmm. But I'd be mad at you and be like, bro, you were driving all crazy and stuff? And we got pulled over because of you, and then you start smarting off to the cop, and now we're in trouble, and now we're both going to jail, man? Instead of just being like, I'm a drug addict with drugs in my pocket with another druggie, and we got pulled over by the cops because the rule of law states that I can't have these drugs. Mm-hmm. And by the way, it's for my own good not to have the drugs.
Right.
So this reflection here is Solomon saying a person's own folly leads to their ruin. It was the decisions I was making that was putting me in the car with other drug addicts. Yeah, they might be bringing about a little bit of trouble, but my responsibility still lied in my actions. And those are the only ones that I can actually change, by the way. I can't change your actions. If you're going to go about being a drug addict, then that's on you. Mm-hmm. Now I can try to explore what it is for you not to be a drug addict only after I've had victory over drugs.
Yeah.
So I can go back to that place now and maybe pull some guys out. God willing, that's what we do here.
Yeah.
But this is about taking responsibility for my actions. Instead of blaming God or anyone else, blaming Andy. It's saying, I have a piece to this turmoil that I find myself in. And where are those things? So it's identifying where I've gone about getting off the right path and that's got me into this trouble? And how do I go about designing a life now that keeps me off that path?
That's
and,
so good.
and leading, following these wise words of Solomon and taking accountability, and then in the future, start playing the tape through. Last time I hopped in a car with drug addicts, we got pulled over and I got arrested.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I shouldn't hop in the car this time.
Well, that's what Solomon's alluding to here. He says it's a person's own folly leads to their ruin.
Right.
Right. And with the part that you're talking about that I think is very important for people to hear is a person's own folly leads to their ruin.
Misdirected anger.
Misdirected anger, but also it's talking about I need to have some guys around me that are looking at my life going, hey,
sure. Accountability partners.
Yeah, there needs to be some accountability in my life that's pointing at me going, hey, stop doing the drugs because this is where it's going to lead you.
How about not stop doing the drugs, which, yes, I would like you to stop using the drugs, but it's saying, here's how I stopped using drugs.
That's the better, right? It's creating the more beautiful
Are you
story
having
of
issues
life.
with these drugs? It seems like you are. You got arrested last weekend and 3 weeks ago and a month before that, and you have charges already hanging over you, and now you're arrested again.
Yeah.
That used to be me.
That used to be me as well, man.
Here's what's happened that has changed me and now gives me a different path forward. And I'd like to see that for you because I care for you.
Gosh, that's what we were just talking about in a previous interview that we had done about it's not my job to close the person on Jesus. It's my job to share. This is how Jesus has affected my life.
Freedom.
This is how it's helped me out. I think it could help you too if you listen. I know where you're at. I've been down that road. My own folly.
Let me show you some of my scars.
Yeah, my own folly led me to a lot of ruin. I've got a lot of scars that have come from that. I was angry at God for a lot of those reasons because I felt like maybe I was dealt the wrong hand. But I would never own any of my own choices, and so I kept going to that folly. There's another proverb that says. It talks about a fool that returns to his folly is like a dog that returns to its own vomit. And that was my life for so very long. People on the outside going, why do you keep doing that to yourself? Why do you keep putting more pain on you? But when you're stuck in the midst of it, you don't see it that way. You see it as I'm burying myself in that folly because I don't want to take a look at who I really am. And it's just easier for me to sit here and be pissed off at everybody else than it is to deal with the fact that I got some stuff that I got to change in my life.
When you accept Christ, you become eternal minded. Mm-hmm. So now I'm looking at life not just as this thing I'm experiencing right now, but as forever moving forward. Yeah?
Yeah.
And with that mindset, I have to start assessing things a lot differently. It's about eternity. It's about everything I'm doing now that leads to that eternal thing. Ecclesiastes 7:15. This will help kind of round things out because not everything is my responsibility. It wasn't all my bad decisions that created every bad path for my life. Mm-hmm. There were other things that happened that were before I was born.
Yeah.
So there's these generational things that happen.
External factors.
There are external factors that come in. Ecclesiastes 7:15. Hopefully this brings peace to anybody listening. If you are dealing with, stick around for the greater show that we're going to have, an hour-long discussion on these same impactful things. But this will at least give you a little preview. Ecclesiastes 7:15. In this meaningless life of mine, I have seen both of these, the righteous perishing in their righteousness and the wicked living long in their wickedness. I'm going to read it again. In this meaningless life of mine, I have seen both of these, the righteous perishing in their righteousness and the wicked living long in their wickedness. He's contrasting there are people who have done the right things and they still die. Why? Because this is a broken, fallen world that we live in.
That's right.
But when you're eternal minded, you realize that this is just a temporary place that you're in. And you're able to see further to the next place with Christ, which is free from all the suffering, the pain. So even if you have pain that was put upon you from these external factors, and you'll see wicked people doing wicked things and they're never getting the justice they deserve, eternal minded says, don't let that stuff bother you.
Right.
That's here in this existence.
That's right.
It's in this longer future with this longer lens that Christ affords you that you can see that there's so much more. And you don't have to deal with these little wicked people doing their wicked things. You just have to continue to do what God's telling you to do. You'll have fulfillment here, and then you'll see justice in the next life.
I think that there's so much wisdom to what you just said there, simply based off of it's easy in this world for me to look around at everybody else and then try to compare my life to their life, going, well, I'm doing the right things, they're doing the wrong things.
Yep.
And because I'm doing the right things, the expectation is that I get to flourish and have blessing and be healthy.
And that's not always the case.
It's not always the case. And I love that Solomon contrasts that for people that even in his time, he saw that. He saw that. Why do wicked people get good things and good people get bad things? This is the question that has pondered people, I think, probably
It's
since
the
the beginning of
stumbling
time.
block for so many people to faith.
Yeah, we're gonna explore that topic, like you said, in the greater conversation about this. I think that as we kind of round the corner here for this particular proverb, right now, this proverb is specifically talking about what are you doing? What is it in your life that is leading you to ruin? What are the things that maybe you need to walk away from? Who are the people that maybe you need to walk away from? And what are some things you can do to stop leading yourself to folly? It's not judgment. We've been there.
You can only self-assess. We can't be the ones to tell you.
That's it.
Obviously, you know your life. We don't know your life. What is those things that are deep in your heart that you know should be changed? And how do you go about changing them? We're going to unpack that for you here on Thursday in our next episode. So stick around. Thanks for joining us.